about money. The judge says he will rule sometime in the future on the bonds. Zimmerman has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder charges in the shooting death of Trayvon Martin in February. Zimmerman says that Trayvon Martin beat him up and that shooting was in self-defense. Defense attorney Janet Johnson joins us to talk about this case. Janet, I know you watched the entire 3-hour hearing this morning that was a bit of a mini trial, even more so than the first hearing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and they kept saying that over and over. Afterwards, Mark O'Mara gave a very compelling explanation. You know, one of the theories is he wants to make his client look good because his client certainly has to make up for some of the errors of his ways. But he said, Mark O'Mara, the defense attorney, that the judge in his order revoking bonds said he's less worried about the money than he is about the strength of the evidence. And in Florida, we're entitled to a bond on a second-degree murder unless the proof is evident and the presumption is great. That's what the law says. So what I think Mark O'Mara was trying to do is show the judge, look, the proof is not evident, the presumption's not great, so if you're going to hang your hat on that provision in not giving him a bond, you know, look at this. We don't want you to say that, you know, looks pretty overwhelming against him.
And to that end, he said some fairly, depending on how you look at it, some fairly provocative things to that point, even going so far as to say that perhaps Trayvon Martin played a role in his own death.
You know, and we as defense attorneys have a very fine line to walk, and I think that he probably regrets he walked over that line, because blaming the victim at the same time I don't think is helpful. The family was in the courtroom, and the judge has to look at those people and say, here's why I'm doing it. I don't think conveying to them that he's doing it because it was his fault, which is what O'Mara suggested, I don't think that helps him in a PR sense. And I've known Bernie DeLorean, the prosecutor, for 18 years. That's exactly the kind of button that would set him off, and that's what happened here. He got really angry.
Okay. Do you think the judge tipped his hand at all as to how he might rule?
No, you know, Judge Lester is such an even-keel judge. He's a great judge, and this is, you know, I think the perfect temperament for a judge in this case. He had said previously he wanted to hear from George Zimmerman, and I think that's something that was a little controversial today, because Mark O'Mara said, I'd like you to hear from him. He wants to address the court, but he doesn't want Bernie DeLorean to cross-examine him. And the judge said, nuh-uh, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So I still think the judge may be a little upset with Mark O'Mara and the defense, but I don't think that's going to play a part in his ruling.
Okay, so we should know. It's getting pretty late this afternoon, so chances are we won't know this afternoon, but perhaps Monday. Go ahead, you're gonna say something.
Oh no, I think Mark O'Mara said he anticipated Monday. He gave the judge, on top of the 3 hours of testimony today, he gave the judge, I think, 8 hours of discovery and tapes that he wants the judge to look at. Again, showing the judge, look, the proof is not evident, presumption's not great, don't try to keep him in jail. You know, I wouldn't be surprised with $250,000.
Okay. Janet, good to talk to you as always. Great analysis. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.